Hey everyone, ready to dive into a Reddit post that really got people talking.
Oh, yeah, this one was,
It's from AskMenAdvice,
mhm.
and it's about a woman who was wondering if her boyfriend's reaction to her getting a UTI was,
With that normal male behavior.
yeah, was that a normal male behavior? And so many people chimed in, we just had to unpack it.
Yeah, and it's interesting how this very personal story kind of spiraled out into a bigger discussion
Right.
about empathy and respect and what are the red flags to watch out for in a relationship.
Absolutely. So basically, the woman posting, she's 33 years old, was on a date with her 38-year-old boyfriend. They were making dinner,
Sounds nice.
and she started feeling those telltale UTI
Oh,
symptoms.
yeah, everyone who's had one knows
Right.
exactly what she's talking about.
But instead of being, understanding or helpful, her boyfriend got annoyed.
Oh, no.
And he even accused her of faking it.
Oh, wow.
He said things like, "Are you sure it's a UTI?
Like, ouch.
You always get sick when we have plans."
Ooh, that's rough.
So not exactly the supportive response you would hope for.
No, not at all.
And then it gets worse because she goes to urgent care. They confirm it is a UTI.
Oh, good for her.
And he says, all sarcastically, "Well, I guess you do know your body."
Ugh.
It's almost like he thought her being sick was an inconvenience to him rather than, a legitimate medical concern.
Absolutely. And that comment just screams lack of empathy.
Totally. And this is where the Reddit community really jumped in with both feet.
I bet.
The overwhelming response from commenters was outrage at the boyfriend's behavior.
Yeah, they were not having it.
They were saying how important it is for your partner to be supportive,
Yeah,
especially when you're dealing with pain or illness.
of course. Like, that's basic human decency.
What I found really insightful was how many people shared their own experiences.
Oh, yeah, that's always interesting to see.
Like some commenters were describing how her partners were so amazing,
Yeah,
driving them to the doctor, picking up prescriptions, making them comfortable.
just being there for them
Exactly. And it really highlights the difference between someone who sees your needs as a burden.
versus someone who sees them as a priority.
Right. And those comparisons really seem to resonate with the original poster because in an update to her post, she revealed that she'd actually broken up with him.
Ah, wow. So she had already moved on.
Yeah, a few months before she even made the post.
So maybe she was looking for validation that
Sounds like it.
leaving him was the right decision.
She even said she felt off about the whole UTI incident, but wasn't sure if she was overreacting at the time and even apologized to him.
Even though she was the one in pain and needing help.
It's sad how we doubt our own feelings like that in relationships.
It really is. And sometimes we prioritize our partner's needs over our own to a fault.
Yeah. And thankfully, she got a ton of support from the Reddit commenters praising her for leaving and encouraging her to focus on her own well-being.
It sounds like she needed that.
It's so clear from reading those comments that this story really resonated with a lot of people.
It definitely touched a nerve.
They saw it as a reminder that we all deserve to be with someone who treats us with kindness and empathy and respect.
And that we don't have to tolerate behavior that makes us feel disrespected or uncared for.
Absolutely. This woman's experience and the way everyone responded to it really challenged that norm.
Yeah, it kind of flipped the script on what's considered acceptable in a relationship.
Exactly. And it sparked such a deeper conversation about what we should expect from our partners.
It's fascinating how something as everyday as a UTI can lead to such profound insights.
It's almost like this whole deep dive wasn't just about a medical issue.
It became about so much more.
It was about knowing your worth and setting boundaries in relationships.
It definitely was. And some commenters even pointed out other red flags in the boyfriend's behavior, too.
Oh, really? Like what?
Like his anger, his dismissive attitude, and the fact that he actually called her damaged goods.
Oh, gosh.
These were all things people highlighted as potential warning signs.
So how do we even recognize those red flags, especially early on when we're maybe blinded by those rose-colored glasses?
That's a fantastic question, and one that we'll dig into even deeper in the next part of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive. You know, as we keep unpacking this Reddit post and all the responses it got, I keep thinking about all those comments about red flags in relationships.
Oh, yeah, that came up a lot.
But before we really get into that, I think it's important to remember that support in a relationship isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's those smaller, everyday actions that really show you care.
That's a great point. What kind of smaller things are you thinking about?
Well, it could be simple, like making your partner a cup of tea when they're feeling under the weather,
Yeah.
or just offering a listening ear after they've had a stressful day.
As being present.
Exactly. Even just being attentive to their needs can say so much.
Yeah, it's like those small things that really say, I see you, I hear you, and I'm here for you.
Exactly. And that seems to be what really connected with a lot of commenters on this post.
Hmm.
They were looking for partners who would be there alongside them, offering support, sharing the load.
One commenter even used the term teammate mentality.
Oh, I like that.
I thought it was so fitting.
It is. It really is. It's about facing those challenges together as a team rather than one person having to carry all the weight.
Right, and that applies to all relationships, not just romantic ones.
Exactly. We all have needs. We all go through tough times, and being able to lean on each other for support is crucial for any healthy relationship.
One thing that I found really interesting was how the original poster's question, is this normal male behavior, sparked a much bigger conversation about gender roles and societal expectations.
Yeah, that stood out to me too.
While the boyfriend's behavior was clearly not okay, the fact that she even asked that question, is this normal for a man to act this way?
Really says a lot about the messages we internalize.
It's like we have this underlying belief that men are supposed to be stoic, unemotional, and maybe even dismissive of their partner's needs.
And that stereotype is so damaging. Men are just as capable of empathy and care as women. In fact, many of those supportive partners that were described in the comments were men.
Exactly. It just goes to show that we can't make generalizations about entire genders.
We can't.
We should be judging individuals based on their actions, not on preconceived notions about what's normal for men or women.
Well said.
So maybe instead of asking, is this normal male behavior, we should be asking, is this healthy behavior for any partner, regardless of gender?
I love that it really shifts the focus away from those gender stereotypes and puts it on the qualities that matter.
Like respect, empathy, good communication, and a genuine desire to support each other.
Exactly. And it challenges us to move beyond those old-fashioned gender roles and create a space where everyone feels safe to express their needs and set boundaries.
And those conversations, the ones that challenge those old ways of thinking, are so important.
They are. That's how we build more equal and fulfilling relationships.
And this deep dive shows us that those conversations can happen anywhere online, in person. Just chatting with friends, it's about creating a space for vulnerability and learning from each other.
Right. Sharing our stories, the good and the bad, can help us all learn and grow.
And ultimately empower us to create relationships that are truly supportive and loving.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, I want to go back to something the original poster said that really stuck with me. She admitted that she apologized to her boyfriend, even though she knew his behavior was wrong.
That's so common, especially for people who have been in unhealthy relationships before.
It's like we're conditioned to apologize for having needs, especially if those needs might inconvenience our partner.
It's important to recognize those patterns and understand that they are often learned behaviors.
Right.
It could be from past experiences, societal conditioning, or even just a lack of awareness about healthy relationships.
But the good news is we can break free from those patterns.
We absolutely can. With time, effort, and support from others, we can build a stronger sense of self-worth and learn to set those healthy boundaries.
And that's where the power of community comes in. By sharing our experiences and supporting each other, we can break free from those unhealthy patterns and create more fulfilling relationships.
I love that.
And speaking of community, I want to remind everyone listening that you're part of a supportive group right here on Voices of the Soul.
That's right. If this conversation is resonating with you, please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments on Shauna Pelage's YouTube channel.
We want to hear from you.
Let's keep this dialogue going and learn from each other.
Now get ready for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll uncover even more insights from this thought-provoking Reddit post. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive. And as we've been talking about this Reddit post and all the reactions it got, I keep coming back to all the comments about red flags in relationships.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone was pointing out those little warning signs.
What's so interesting is how easy it can be to miss those red flags.
Yeah.
Especially early on when you're excited about someone and hoping for the best.
Absolutely. We might dismiss those little things like a sarcastic comment here or a dismissive gesture there.
Thinking we're overreacting, or maybe it was just a one-time thing.
But this deep dive has really shown us that those seemingly small things can actually be part of a bigger pattern.
Right. Patterns that could mean there's a lack of respect or a tendency toward control or even potential for emotional abuse.
And if you ignore those red flags, it can really come back to bite you later on.
One commenter said it perfectly. They said, ignoring a red flag is like ignoring a fire alarm. It might seem annoying at the time, but it could save your life in the long run.
Wow, that's a great analogy.
We all deserve to be treated with respect and kindness right from the start, not just once the relationship gets serious.
Absolutely.
One of the most common red flags that people brought up in this Reddit post and all of the stories they shared was a lack of empathy.
Yeah, we saw that in how the boyfriend reacted to the UTI.
And in so many other stories where partners just didn't seem to understand or validate their loved one's feelings.
Empathy isn't always easy. It takes effort to step outside of yourself and really listen to the other person, even when their perspective is different from yours.
It's about trying to understand how they feel and responding with compassion and care.
Sometimes empathy means putting your own desires aside and prioritizing your partner's well-being. Maybe it means changing your plans or adjusting your schedule or even just being present and listening to them.
Those acts of empathy, whether they're big or small, can make a huge difference in how strong and lasting a relationship is.
They really can. They build trust and create a sense of safety and security.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave everyone with a question to think about. What are some of those subtle signs of disrespect in a relationship that we should be looking out for?
That's a great question. It really makes you think back on your own experiences and see if there were times when you felt disrespected or undervalued.
And how can we stand up for ourselves and set healthy boundaries moving forward?
Don't forget, you deserve to be in a relationship where you feel respected, valued, and loved.
Sometimes recognizing those red flags early on and being brave enough to address them can help you build a much more fulfilling connection.
Exactly.
We want to hear from you. Head over to Shauna Plage's YouTube channel and share your thoughts and experiences in the comments.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul so you don't miss any future episodes.
Thanks for listening, everyone.